Hi, and welcome to the Big Bear Homestead. Today, we're going to do a little something different. As you can see, I got somebody with me today. So we're gonna do a real quick interview with Brad from the Big Family Homestead, and let's see if we get some answers to some mostly asked questions.
Mostly asked.
Mostly asked.
Okay.
Especially in my mind.
Well, bring it on, brother. What you got?
Well, I mean, let's be honest, Brad. You don't fit the mold of a typical homesteader. You got the earring going on. You're great with video, and you're
so
self-proclaimed.
You have to be crappy at video to be a homesteader.
No, you're a self-proclaimed nerd.
I am nerdy.
So, and when a lot of people think of nerdy, they think of pocket protector, Poindexter, the engineer, all of that. What got you into wanting to walk through chicken manure, bring out hay in sleet and snow?
Mm-hmm. Well, let me first thank you for allowing me to be here. That was the warmest welcome I've gotten in quite a long time. Kindest and probably most true. And so the thing is this, our family is definitely not the cookie cutter, the folks that you see on the internet, the J-Null Zeros of the world who've been doing this forever and know all the stuff. We are new to this, and I came out of a background of literally rock and roll. I was in a Christian rock band, touring and buses and all that kind of stuff. Oh my. Anyway, and bottom line, this is Scout's honor. I remember being at our house, and I was a praise and worship director at a church, and all of a sudden it just came into my mind, just as simply as you were just think like, oh, okay, milk, butter, eggs, stuff I got to get from the store, and I just went, I wonder what it'd be like to keep bees. It was literally just like that. And then I was like, hey, honey, what do you think it'd be like to keep bees? And she goes, are you out of your flippin' mind? Because anybody that knows me knows I used to own a recording studio. I used to own a video production facility. All I do is zeros and ones in the computer. And so anybody that's like that ain't usually the typical guy that goes, I wonder what it's like to keep bees. And so honestly, I took a class, or no, reverse that. I got a book, took a class, convinced my wife it was going to be okay, even though she was deathly afraid of bees. I mean, deathly afraid of bees. And we got a beehive, and then it was cool. Then we got 2 beehives, and it was cool. And then a buddy of mine at church said, well, hey, why don't we put some gasoline on this fire? And he bought 10 hives, and we were kind of in cahoots. And then it was like, oh, game on. And then my wife was like, I wonder what it'd be like to keep chickens. Now, mind you, guys, this is what's funny about this. Where we lived at the time was a very hoity-toity area of Cincinnati, okay? Really, really ritzy area. You don't find a less than $400,000 home there on less than a quarter acre. And I'm living in a parsonage at the church I'm working at. And so I'm working there. It's true. This is absolute truth. And so I'm talking to my wife, and she's telling me, no, we got to get chickens. And so I'm going, oh, dear God, we're the Clampets.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And so it's my job now to go and convince the pastor to let us have chickens. Mind you, also, they have like walking paths and all that kind of stuff. And the house where we were at had a walking path in the backyard. So whatever was in our backyard, everybody's going to be like, oh, dear God, what's happened? And so
this is a story about a man named
This is the true story. I went to my pastor because I thought, oh, this is going to be easy. No problem. He's going to say no, and I don't have to be the bad guy. So I went to him and I said, okay, here's the scoop. I don't know what's wrong with my wife, but blah, blah, blah. She wants chickens. And he told me later. Mm-hmm. He was like, oh, no. But he didn't want to be the bad guy. So what he said was, in his brain, he's thinking, well, surely they're not going to allow you to have them here. This is blah, blah, blah land. They want chickens. That's silly. And he says, well, check it out with the city. And if you're allowed to, you can, sure. Why not? 2 weeks before, the city council passed that you could have chickens. And so we got chickens.
So what I'm hearing is you started with honeybees and then went to chickens.
We dabbled in gardening, but we killed everything we tried to plant.
I was going to say, because most everybody starts with gardening, and then gardening leads them into chickens for the fertilizer and pest control and stuff like that. But you went hardcore straight into honeybees.
Yeah. They're fascinating. And I'll tell you what, the more I learn about honeybees,
the more you know there's a God.
The more I'm absolutely convinced there's order in the universe, and it ain't coming from us.
Yep. The very first time I popped the top on a beehive.
See him doing the waggle dance.
And I was watching them, and I was studying them, and I was like, you cannot look at a colony of honeybees and say there is no God.
No. The way that they don't echolocate, the waggle dance. Scientists don't even fully understand it. Yeah. But a bee goes out into the wide world and finds a resource, whether it's, flowers for pollen or water, and they come back and they know somehow, like a GPS inside that bee, where they are. And what they'll do is they'll come in, they'll dance around in a certain pattern, and they'll shake their bodies and beat their wings in a certain pattern, and that tells everybody else where that resource is exactly to the pinpoint.
Yep. Now, you started with honeybees and then went to chickens and went to gardening. Now you have a dairy cow, dairy goats. What is your end goal? What would you have that you would say, I have reached what I call my freedom?
I would say that'll never happen, because I think that we're always growing and we're always learning, and there's always some new skill, some new this, some new that. But I think if there was a attainable spot where you could say, I feel comfortable now, it would be providing all of the food that my family consumes, and not only that, but enough to share with other families, because I think that's absolutely key. Yes. Absolutely key. And then being able to make income, not relying on outside sources for things like electricity, and I'm a big fan of self-reliance, and I don't know if I'll ever get there, but I'll tell you this much: I'm trying every day. I'm learning every day. I'm on YouTube. I'm digging into videos. I'm learning new skills. Finding people like you, for example. One thing I've never done is gone hunting. I'm not opposed to hunting. I have guns. We shoot. We process our own meat. I just have never gone, because I don't want to go out and do something badly and be disrespectful to the animal, hurt it, maim it. I don't want to do it wrong. So I look at somebody like you and I go, wow, you've been doing this your whole life. I need to learn from you. And so that's kind of where I'm at. Is I think we're on a process, and I don't think we'll ever arrive. But if we could get most of the stuff that we need from what we're producing, you're winning.
Exactly. And once you start to get there, like as we took our journey, because we've been doing it almost 12 years now. Each year it seems like the stressors change.
A little bit easier.
It gets easier. All of a sudden it's not, I got to make sure I better get at least a nickel raise this year. Now it's like I got to really make sure I have the potatoes in by this date, because when I was a week later last year, they just burn up, or something happened. I didn't beat this bug, or I didn't. Okay, let me start bringing the chickens in earlier. Your stressors change, and when you keep your notebooks, there's still gonna be stressors there, but it's different and it's more rewarding, because whether it was getting promoted in the Marine Corps or getting a raise out in the civilian world, yes, I had a feeling of accomplishment, and I felt good about myself when I got those things. But it's nothing like when you sit down at the table and you look what you're getting ready to feast on, your harvest, and the feeling you get when you know everything that's on that table today, you provided.
Mm-hmm.
You grew it, you butchered it, you killed it, whatever. And that's some of the best feelings that I've ever experienced.
Well, dude, and to add to that, we both have children. Mm-hmm. And most children in our society today are growing up completely not knowing where their food comes from. Completely. Yes. They think it comes from a package in the store. Mm-hmm. They have no connection to their food source. They are not able to do basic life skills. They sit with their phones.
Yeah.
And to me, passing these skills and knowledge on, I think it's an irresponsible parent who does not.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like what we said when we did the Homestead Network intro or Homestead Network commercial. We are practically at least 2 generations removed away from our food. 2 generations.
Mm.
You know? And that's unacceptable anymore. When kids think that the eggs come from
styrofoam,
the styrofoam in the back of Walmart, we've now done a misjustice to our children.
Well, and it's a practical thing. Think about it like this. We live in Ohio where you get snowstorms. Now, first of all, I'm not going to get started on how badly people just freak out when there's like a ½ inch of snow. It's snowpocalypse. Oh my God, we're all going to die.
You should come to Georgia. 5 people have bad dandruff. They're closing schools.
No, but up here, it's crazy because if you go to the store, like we had last year, we had forecasted, mind you, mm-hmm. 1 inch of snow 2 days from now. And we went to the store just because it was our normal day to go. And there were no eggs, no butter, no milk, no bread on the shelves, nothing. And I'm thinking, who are these people and why don't they know how to do stuff?
Well, one of the things I love about Georgia, now, I love my state. I love Georgia. Don't be sending me hate.
You were always on my mind.
Don't send me hate email. But y'all have to admit, most of us, we go a little crazy when the snow comes. And a lot of it has to do with that tragedy that we had a couple years back when the mayor of Atlanta didn't close everything down right away when that bad ice storm and people died. But there are people, like when we had it, and I took Robin to work when she worked at Arby's. I took her to work the next day, and I was just sitting back there. There was people that haven't eaten in 3 days because there was no power, and they threw away all their food because the freezer's defrosted.
Put it outside.
Put it outside. It's less than 32 degrees outside. Put it out there.
Well, and I'm not making an excuse for bad management, but I understand because the southern states, the cities are not going to invest in all this millions and millions of dollars of equipment to keep the streets plowed.
Mm-hmm. But that just proves our point of being so far removed from things that we need to put the phones down and pick up maybe the Foxfire series or pick up the Little House on the Prairie series, something, and start reading and start relearning skills that we should have, but we've been so removed from it because of technology moving us in a different direction that when a snowstorm comes out of nowhere, people are dying because of it, and that's not.
Well, and that's kind of where we're at as a family. We're learning all these skills from scratch. I mean, I'm in my, low 20s, clearly, in age. I mean, but anyway, so I'm learning all these skills for new, right? And one thing, exactly. It's getting thick in here.
Glad I'm wearing my boots.
Exactly. But I think it's something that needs to be a priority for everybody.
Low 20s. You've been your low 20 in 20 years.
Oh, gee, what a bozo. I get no respect. What was that, Rodney Dangerfield?
See, now you're showing that you're not in your low 20s.
That's funny. That is true.
Well, I want to thank Brad for letting us do this interview. As you guys know, we came up to Brad's house for Thanksgiving, and we had a wonderful time. There's going to be a bunch of more videos with me and Mr. Low 20s over here.
Sorry in
so,
advance.
Stay tuned. Thanks for coming by. And like always, have a nice day. If you're not subbed, go sub.